Forget calories. Would you die for a slice? Aztec folklore claims the cocoa tree sprouted from the blood of a sacrificed princess. By the 1800s, this substance became so precious that thieves ignored silver just to plunder the brown gold. We label it devil's food today, but it was once reserved for gods. Why was this treat originally banned as a sin? That forbidden luxury relies on a staggering global supply chain. 40% of every fudgy bite originates in the Ivory Coast. This region produces 2 million tons of cocoa annually, enough to fill 800 Olympic pools. While we pay $10 for a dessert, local harvesters earn under $1 daily. Having lost 80% of their rainforests to this obsession, why do most growers never sample the final product? Gather around the fire because the story I'm about to tell you is dark, rich, and a little gritty, just like the subject itself, chocolate. This isn't just a sweet treat. For centuries it was power, because cocoa wasn't dessert, it was currency. Imagine this: ancient Mayans and Aztecs traded beans as legal tender. You could purchase a rabbit for 10 units or a human slave for 100. Throughout most of history, the chocolate cake you know was physically impossible. Until the 19th century, it remained a bitter, pungent beverage spiked with chili, something you drank for ritual, not pleasure. In fact, the earliest sponge-style versions weren't culinary triumphs at all. They were merely medicinal carriers used by pharmacists to mask the flavor of harsh drugs, disguising medicine in the only inviting form they had. As manufacturing modernized, the process became surprisingly, earthy. The FDA Food Defect Levels Handbook actually permits trace amounts of insect fragments, because keeping them out of massive fermentation vats is virtually impossible. Yet, perhaps that's the secret intellectual fuel. A strange theory, but data suggests that nations with the highest consumption rates, like Switzerland, also boast the most Nobel Prize winners per capita. Coincidence? Maybe. Even our most beloved recipes are usually unintentional strokes of luck, tales of brilliant failure. The molten lava cake wasn't a calculated masterpiece, it was a technical blunder. A chef retrieved it from the oven prematurely, realizing his mistake, but that raw, gooey center became an international phenomenon overnight. The culinary world is full of these happy accidents. Humans go to extraordinary, almost obsessive lengths for this craving. In 2020, Indian pastry chefs crafted a record-breaking dessert stretching over 3 miles long. A massive crowd materialized and vanished the entire structure in minutes. To achieve the deep mahogany color in a devil's food sponge, you rely on a specific chemical interaction between the cocoa powder and acid. This unique chemistry even altered our technological landscape in profound ways. The microwave was conceived because researcher Percy Spencer noticed a chocolate bar liquefying in his pocket while testing radar equipment. Chocolate has even intervened in fate itself. Milton Hershey, the industry titan, possessed a ticket for the Titanic but cancelled his voyage for an urgent business meeting at the final hour. Even the humble chocolate chip cookie was a culinary misunderstanding. Ruth Wakefield assumed the pieces would dissolve into the dough. Instead, they held their shape and redefined snacking forever. However, reaching that peak indulgence is an exercise in patience that few appreciate. A tree requires 5 years to produce its first harvest, and a single plant only yields enough for roughly 250 bars annually. It is really a slow-grown miracle, something we then devour in an instant. Follow the story, not just the recipe. More dishes are waiting.